girlfriend of a Boston police officer whose body was found
in the murder trial of Karen Reed after the jury said it was unable to
they
reach
will
a
retry
verdict.
Karen Reed
is
after a
accused
judge
of
declared a
Hi, alternates. Welcome back to day 23 of the Karen Reed retrial. And today, something huge happened in the court case. Yes, something really big. You ready for this? The Commonwealth rested their case. That's right. So what that means for you as an alternate is that all of the evidence that the Commonwealth has been presented. That's it. No más. Nada. What you see is what you get. That means that right now, in this very moment, you should be able to determine beyond a reasonable doubt whether or not Karen Reed is guilty of the charges against her. Do you think that the Commonwealth has met their burden? Please, please do not stop without leaving me a note in the comments. Do you think that the Commonwealth has met their burden? Remember, Karen Reed does have a defense to present, and they will be presenting a case. But before that happens, her defense is going to file a motion. And I don't know what it's called in Massachusetts. It's either called a motion to dismiss, a motion for a directed verdict, or even a motion for a judgment of acquittal. Whatever it's called, this motion is almost a given in every single case, unless your attorney wants to get some sort of ineffective assistance of counsel motion filed later on. And listen, it's a very pivotal point where the defense says, Your Honor, the evidence presented in the case in chief of the Commonwealth is not sufficient to withhold a guilty verdict. There is just simply not enough evidence to find our client, Karen Reed, guilty. But alternates, a dismissal at this point in a trial is very, very rare. And honestly, I don't think that Judge Cannoni is going to dismiss this case. But what do you think? Has the Commonwealth proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Karen Reed backed her car into John O'Keefe and left him for dead? All right, listen, I don't know what the answer is, but let's get into day 23. Day 23 was a half day at court. It was actually less than a half day. It was like 3 hours less. And we resumed with Dr. Welcher on the stand. And I do want to clarify, when I did my day 21 recap, I initially said that he worked for ARCA. And that was a big whoops on my part. He actually works for Aperture, and we did eventually fix it. But I bet you there are a few of you out there that downloaded as soon as that episode came out. So I just wanted to clarify. Today, just as yesterday, was a very difficult case because Dr. Welcher would not answer the questions that Robert Alessi was asking. But at some point during the cross-examination, defense attorney Alessi tried to imply that the science behind Dr. Welch's scans that he conducted on One Meadows to attempt to recreate the 5:07 a.m. hit between Karen's SUV and John's SUV was junk and the angles matter. Alessi basically said, you could have used real 3D scans. And then Dr. Welch said, yes, I did. But listen, they were apparently 3D scans, but they were presented to the court in two-dimensional versions, like just flat, like there was not even a video showing like a real 3D scan. So they just, as they were talking, the two of them, Alessi and Dr. Welcher, they were just talking over each other. At one point, Alessi was like, you used a Ring camera to create these scans, but you didn't have the exact Ring camera model that John had on the day of this bump. Here's how that conversation ended.
Sir, you know the importance of all of these topics because the output of all the work Aperture did at One Meadows, almost all of it, springs from that camera, correct?
It starts there.
Okay, it starts there. And if the starting point is wrong, then where you go from the starting point is going to be at least potentially wrong, correct?
Potentially.
Would you agree that Ring cameras have a swiveling mechanism so that the user can adjust the camera angle?
Some do.
Do you know whether the camera that was in existence on January 29, 2022 had a swiveling mechanism?
I believe it did.
Believe? Do you know?
I do not know for a fact, but
you-
those style of Ring cameras on the surveillance have adjustability that includes angle.
But you don't know whether the camera that was there, the specific camera on January 29, 2022, had a swiveling mechanism or not, correct?
Correct.
And do you know whether the camera that you saw in October of 2024 had a swiveling mechanism on it?
It did.
And where did you document the fact that it had a swiveling mechanism?
I think we have photos of the camera.
Did you document it in writing, and did you document the tolerance of the swiveling mechanism?
No.
Let's go to, and again, all of the camera, this camera that you used is the starting point for your laser scan and photogrammetry process, correct?
Correct.
All right. Let's go to another topic.
Now, that excerpt that you just heard was civil, but things weren't always civil in court today between Alessi and Dr. Welcher. At one point, things got real contentious when Alessi actually complained to Judge Cannoni about the witness. Here it is, because you really won't believe me until you hear it and see it for yourself.
That's exactly what we did. When I went through the video analysis, I showed you how we overlaid the point clouds, the 3D scans, on top of each vehicle. So we took the, we took
Sir,
the vehicles.
please don't interrupt.
Hold on.
Your
Hold
Honor,
on.
he keeps referencing my hand and saying I'm doing something when I'm not, and I think that's distracting to the jury. I'm not interrupting him.
Hold on. Let the witness answer the
I
question.
am. I'm just holding my hand like this, Your Honor. He keeps saying that I'm doing something.
Mr. Alessi, please.
All right.
Yikes, Alessi got real mad there. Another point during cross-examination was Alessi discussing whether Karen's car registered that 5:07 a.m. hit of John's SUV as a collision.
Only one of all of those events, those 18, are you concluding that there was a collision associated with them, correct? Just one.
No, all those 18 are before. The collision's number 19.
No, I'm saying, I understand what you're saying, but for all the other events that are recorded, you're not, other than the January 29, 11/62/2, you're not concluding that any of those were collisions, correct?
I didn't look at them. They were so far mileage away from everything.
But you're not concluding, even though they were so far away and you didn't look at them, you don't conclude from the information you have that any of them were a collision, correct?
Sustained.
Let's go to 5:07 a.m. on January 29th, 2022 at One Meadows, the home of Mr. O'Keefe.
Okay.
There was a collision between Ms. Reed's 6,000-pound Lexus and Mr. O'Keefe's approximately 4,500 Chevy Traverse. That's undisputed, correct? They collided, they made contact.
They touched.
Right. But the actual collision at One Meadows did not register the recording of an event on the Lexus VCH system, did it?
Correct. It's too minor.
So, however, you want this jury, sir, to conclude that the glancing blow that you contend occurred at 34 Fairview Road by the same 6,000-pound Lexus in contact with a mere 216-pound man did register an event on the Lexus, correct?
No. The impact didn't register the event. As I pointed out, the trigger was from when the accelerator pedal went to 30%. The Techstream does not register crashes at all. It registers excessive acceleration, excessive steering, excessive braking, things like that, things that would be part of the maintenance system. So the Techstream will never register an event, even if you hit a wall at 100 miles an hour necessarily. I mean, it'll cause fault codes and things like that, but that's not what it does. The trigger here was transitioning into reverse and then gunning the accelerator pedal in reverse. And so when it went from 30 up to 74% throttle, once it went over 30 in that transition, that's what triggered the Techstream. It had nothing to do with, and that's why I'm telling you, I don't know when in that event the impact occurred, because the Techstream doesn't tell you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly my point. The Techstream information doesn't tell you when a collision occurs, does it?
Correct.
So that was basically where Cross ended, and the redirect really focused on a few things. Attorney Brennan clarified that Dr. Welcher did not use Photoshop when recreating any part of his 3D scans, or any part of his report for that matter. He also pointed to specific slides in Dr. Welch's presentation showing data points, specifically referring to that document with the 1152 event. And Brennan confirmed that this was all data retrieved from a machine and that it was not possible to have changed due to confirmation bias. And Dr. Welcher was like, yeah, these are just numbers that the computer basically spit out. Okay, after it was all said and done, Judge Cannoni told Dr. Welcher that he was free to leave. And no kidding, he actually got so happy, he yelped. It was funny because the gallery chuckled, and I don't know, he was just so ready to be done. And I was ready for him to be done, really. After Dr. Welcher stepped off the stand, the Commonwealth played this final video of a Karen Reed media interview.
So I thought, could I have run him over? Did he try to get me as I was leaving and I didn't know it? I mean, I've always got the music blasting. It's snowing. I got the wipers going, the heater blasting. Did he come and hit the back of my car and I hit him in the knee and he's drunk and passed out and asphyxiated or something? And then when I hired David Yannetti, I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if, I don't know, what if I ran his foot over? Or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed out or went to care for himself and he threw up or passed out? And David said, yeah, then you have some element of culpability.
And after this, the Commonwealth rested their case. So what do you think, alternates? Did the Commonwealth meet their burden? I saw some commenters on TikTok, or commentators, I'm not even sure what the word is, but I saw some folks on TikTok saying that the Commonwealth basically threw in the towel during this trial. But after hearing from Day 22 that they paid Aperture close to $400,000 for their experts, I don't think that's the case. I just think that's all the evidence they had. All right, that's it for today. We will be back tomorrow for Day 24, where the defense will start the presentation of their evidence. Remember, they thought that they needed a week and a half to present their defense. So that puts us at maybe ending potentially between June 11th and June 13th. We shall see. Listen, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for listening to our show. If you want more of Tabitha and I, the unfiltered version that is, check us out on Patreon, where we have released 3 bonus episodes, and we're going to release another one real soon, where we talk all things Karen Reed, Sean Combs, and we tell you how we really feel. Check it out at patreon.com/thealternate. Your support really does mean the world to us. Also, now would be a good time for you to tell a friend about the show. This way, they can play catch up and the two of you can discuss your opinions. Is Karen Reed guilty or not guilty? All right, alternates, we'll see you tomorrow for Day 24. But until then, think like a juror, decide like one too.